He's flanked in midfield by Declan Rice, the heartbeat, and Thomas Partey, the quiet enforcer. Injuries, of course, forcing Mikel Arteta's hand again. Mikel Merino, more accustomed to midfield, continues as that emergency forward, that false nine, as they say. A stopgap, yes, but a willing one, and so far an effective one. 6 goals in 2025 since taking over that role. He's Arsenal's top scorer this calendar year. Gabriel too is gone. His season ended cruelly, so Jakub Kiwior joins William Saliba in the heart of defence. Raya is in goal. Timber returns at right back, and Miles Lewis-Skelly, still only 18, now and fully fledged England international, starts another chapter in a story of a season that's already been crammed to the rafters with them. This is not just a match, it's a stage for Arsenal. A chance to interrupt the script. For Madrid, another page in their epic. For us, a night to be wrapped in possibility. It begins again. A quarter-final. First leg. London breathes in. Europe holds its breath. Arsenal, Real Madrid. Let's see who dares to write the next line. A final coming together. A circle of trust before the Arsenal players break to their respective portions of the pitch. Some words of inspiration from Martin Odegaard, whose career could have been so different. Signed as a 15-year-old to Real Madrid. He spent most of his time in the Castillo side, the second team at the Bernabeu. It didn't really work out for him there, but he certainly has here at the Emirates. He's become the player, the constant, the creative spark in an Arsenal team full of them. And they are underway at the Emirates. Real Madrid all in grey tonight, playing from right to left. It's that familiar white-sleeved red Arsenal shirts, white shorts and red socks. Big moment tonight for Mikel Arteta, and he's been a very forthright in saying so. Called it in the build-up, 100% the biggest game of his career. And he's been trying to ramp that up. That's a nervous touch on the outside of the 18-yard box from Thomas Partey. Kylian Mbappe will try his hand early. It's a simple one in the end for David Raya with the effort from quite some distance out. It was Kiwior coming to try and intercept that ball in midfield. Here is David Raya, just to the right of his penalty spot. A minute in at the Emirates, a tale of dew sprays off the back of this ball as it's rolled from right to left and back again across that Arsenal back line, with William Saliba in possession here, and Arsenal taking their time. Here comes Odegaard on the right-hand side, just drifted wide to pick up a pocket of space, and he's done really well getting Arsenal forward down this right. First touch here for Bukayo Saka, infield to Martin Odegaard. And now slip back to Jurrien Timber. Here's Odegaard. Thomas Partey. It's a robust challenge on Timber. Rodrigo snapping in with a challenge on the Dutchman. And Arsenal with a free kick just inside the centre circle, which they'll take short. And now Odegaard will drift his way forward. Saka on the right-hand side. David Alaba in front of him, laid off to the edge of the box to Odegaard. Tries to get Jurrien Timber involved. Is Odegaard still in possession? Drifting into a more central position. It's very tight on the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area. And it's good work from David Alaba to nod it down, but Luka Modric can't find a teammate, intercepted by Martin Odegaard. Very good challenge from Jurrien Timber, and it's Saka that goes down over the outstretched leg of Luka Modric, just on the outside of the penalty area, corner of the box. Arsenal with another set piece. It's exactly what Bukayo Saka was looking for. There's not much there at all. He has made contact, but it's a clever one from Bukayo Saka. Starts on his right and then flicks it out to his left. Luka Modric not quick enough to get a toe to the ball. And now standing over the set piece here, Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. Carlo Ancelotti has been talking, of course, in the build-up to this game, and they have highlighted Arsenal's set pieces. It has become a real strength of them. The set piece coach, Stevenberg, and all of the other coaching team watching on. They work so hard on these, and Arsenal at the back post will run across the face of the Real Madrid defenders, whipped in low towards the near post by Martin Odegaard. That's scooped away by Rodrigo. Saka gives it straight to Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid bursting over the halfway line. Arsenal scrambling to get bodies back. It's Vinicius Jr. tried the outside of the boot. That's off of Saliba, and the deflection carries it into the hands of David Raya. A big hand of an apology and a sigh of relief from Bukayo Saka. And Vinicius Jr. accelerated towards the Arsenal penalty area. Credit to William Saliba as well. Held his position, held his ground, and got the really important touch to take the sting out of that Real Madrid move. Kivior. Now Raya. With Kivior again. Now inside to Miles Lewis Skelly. Partey. Flashes it back to Saliba. Now Lewis Skelly, shuffled across, Kivior, down this left-hand side for Martinelli. He's going to try and slip one forward for Rice. Across came Asensio with the clearance. Arsenal with the throw-in on the far side. Mikel Arteta's 21st game as a manager in the Champions League. Arsenal back-to-back seasons in Europe's premier competition after missing out for a number of years. They've only reached the semi-final twice. The last back in 2009 when they lost to Manchester United. Here's Odegaard on the edge of the box. Saka, corner of the penalty area, looks to go on the outside of Alaba. It's a cross into the 6-yard box. There was no pressure from any Arsenal players, but Camavinga put his teammate under pressure by leaving it. Took a little flick off David Alaba, a little deflection. And that's Rudiger's clearance off the rear end of Eduardo Camavinga, and that could have gone anywhere. It was narrowly wide of the near post. Another set piece for Arsenal, corner kick from the near side. I think Asensio was expecting Camavinga to clear it. Maybe goalkeeper could have got involved as well, because no Arsenal players made a move to the ball. Here's Saka. Whipped deep towards the back post. It's underneath the crossbar and it's pushed over it by Thibaut Courtois. It's a dangerous ball from Bukayo Saka. Trying to put Thibaut Courtois under pressure. Back to where we started. Saka over the set piece. This corner kick for Arsenal, the latest in a line of set pieces recently. Saka in towards the near post. It's a good effort. It's a good ball. They were looking for the near post flick and they nearly got it. Real Madrid have cleared the danger and Vinicius Jr. will whip one cross field. It's helped on its way by Kylian Mbappe. And here's Rodrigo. Arsenal have got numbers back pretty rapidly. Bellingham, Camavinga, and now on the left-hand side of the circle, the Real Madrid captain, Luka Modric. Alaba forward down this left-hand side. Back inside to Luka Modric. Now Asensio. With Valverde. Rudiger to Modric. Left-hand side for Vinicius Jr. Now Luka Modric. Bounce back to him by Bellingham. Modric spots the run of Mbappe through the middle, tries to lift the ball over the Arsenal back line. Raya quick off his line and will get there first. And he bowls it into midfield for Thomas Partey. And the pass out to the Ghanaian is greeted with a mighty roar around the Emirates. Arsenal starting confidently here at home. Odegaard. Last time these two faced each other in the Champions League was in these parts, although there's a few minutes down the road at Highbury. It was Thierry Henry's goal in the Bernabeu. A wonderful solo effort that gave Arsenal that narrow margin. Declan Rice pulls it back towards the corner of the 6-yard box, away by Asensio. Drops to Valverde. Just carries that towards the halfway line. Kylian Mbappe gets it away from Ødegaard, sliding back. Still Mbappe through the middle for Real Madrid. Alaba. Vinicius Junior. Whipped towards the near post. Little deflection on the way through from Timber. Had Raya worried for a split second, but it's comfortably wide of his near post and had a play for a goal kick. So Arsenal with the early momentum. Reflected by the statistics, 70% of the ball. But it's Real Madrid. The only side with an effort. A corner not long ago. It was whipped in towards that near post. It was actually Saliba in front of Thibaut Courtois. It got in the way of that effort from that corner kick not long ago. Here is Timber. And now Saliba. Across to Kivior, midway through the Arsenal half of the pitch. Miles Lewis-Skelly popping up in the base of midfield. It's just freeing up Rice to stretch those legs into space. Putting so much trust in Miles Lewis-Skelly. If you think back to the start of the season, I'm not sure he would have registered on many Arsenal fans' minds as being their starting left-back in the quarter-finals of the Champions League, but here he is, and it's been quite the season for the teenager. Had to deal with quite a lot of flack as well, hasn't he? He felt a little bit aggrieved at the weekend against Everton. Conceded a penalty which many agree is a little bit harsh on the teenager. Here he is, Declan Rice on the left-hand side though, for Arsenal driving them forward. Martinelli on the touchline, starts to peel inside and curls one right-footed towards the back post. It's thumped away by the forehead of David Alaba. Cushioned down by Timber, loose pass touch from Thomas Partey. Saliba was there to rather get him out of jail. It's a clearance up towards Mikel Merino. Modric out towards this near side, collected by Vinicius Junior. Back into the penalty area with Rudiger boozering down around the Emirates for the former Chelsea man. Won the Champions League with them back in 2021 in that final between Chelsea and Manchester City. Kai Havertz with the only goal in that game. In the very last remnants of the COVID-19 pandemic, I remember the stadium wasn't even full. Carlo Ancelotti. Extraordinary record at Real Madrid. There's a rumour going around that Ancelotti returns to Real Madrid when the hierarchy got in touch with him to ask for his opinion on a couple of coaches that they were considering for the role. And at the end of the conversation, after Carlo Ancelotti passed on his almighty wisdom, he ended the chats with the Real Madrid hierarchy by saying, well, I'll do it. And Florentino Perez apparently said, OK, and here we are. Ancelotti, the dynasty creator in Madrid. Arsenal feel a little bit aggrieved here. It was Jurrien Timber that went down near the byline. Camavinga, he thinks, was a little too tight to him, but the referee's happy to allow Real Madrid to take the resulting goal kick, but it's back in Arsenal possession, as that was rather given away by Courtois. Raya. Now Partey. Kivior spinning out to this left-hand side in possession as Miles Lewis-Skelly steps into midfield. It's Partey that's retreating furthest of those Arsenal midfielders. Ødegaard not too far away from him here in possession in the middle of the Arsenal half of the pitch, and that's a neat touch from Miles Lewis-Skelly, and then strides away from Rodrigo. He's found Declan Rice, left hand inside channel wide to Martinelli, comes in off the touchline, running at Valverde, goes round the outside, Martinelli in towards Rice, just behind him, Mikel Merino lays it off for Partey, and that's away by Courtois. Cannons back off Asensio and into the very grateful gloves of the Belgium international. Best chance of the game. Really positive from Gabriel Martinelli, driving at Fede Valverde, the makeshift right back. You have to remember, he goes around the outside this time. It's a good pull back to Declan Rice. A little bit too much pace for the England international to handle. Mikel Merino had his back to goal, cushioned it back into the path of Thomas Partey, who caught it really nicely. It came through a group of bodies. Courtois had to just prod it away. It cannoned back on him, at him, off Asensio. And Real Madrid with a little bit of a escape there, a deflection of Camavinga as well, made it even more difficult for Thibaut Courtois. Real Madrid have gone down the other end and won themselves a corner kick. Vinicius Junior driving them forward this time. It's a decent start. There's a potential penalty check here for a possible handball on Asensio. It was Raul Asensio at the near post, just in front of Declan Rice. It's very, very close. I think given the distance between Declan Rice and Asensio, I don't think that one's going to be given as a penalty. Of course, in the Premier League, this is a pretty easy one to clear up. It's in Europe, the margin tends to change. The arm is extended away from his body. It's difficult to tell by the angle that we're seeing whether that is changing the silhouette of him as he's side on, turning his body towards Declan Rice to try and block the near post. But it is taking a while here. The referee, Irfan Pilito of Bosnia and Herzegovina, listening to Bastian Danker, the VAR, and they have finally decided that isn't enough to give a penalty in Arsenal's way. Jurriën Timber's gone to ground midway. Meanwhile, I should say. It'll be Luka Modric to take the corner kick from the near side. Whips it in right-footed into the 6-yard box. Confidently punched away by David Raya. Collected on the edge of the centre circle by Eduardo Camavinga. Now Valverde. Camavinga almost put him in a spot of bother. Just got it away before Martinelli could get his toe to it. Here's Mbappe, right corner of the penalty area. Rodrigo's further wide. Now Mbappe again, little flick of the heel to feed Bellingham. Valverde, back on the edge of the centre circle with Camavinga. 10 yards to his left is Modric. Valverde. Now Rodrigo. Mbappe. Lots of Arsenal bodies on the edge of their penalty area. In fact, all 11 players are behind the ball in red and white at the moment, with Valverde on the right-hand side. We'll slide one into the centre circle for Tony Rudiger. Asensio to Valverde. Oh, these two teams coming into the game on the back of confidence boosting league results. Arsenal with that 1-1 draw against Everton. Real Madrid, a rare defeat against Valencia. Conceded a 95th minute goal to give Valencia all 3 points. Rodrigo. Now Camavinga. It's one of the features, though, of this Real Madrid team. They have such talent and can tear teams apart, but so often the performances, often in Europe as well, have been subpar, but there's just something about it. They've almost got a juju, some kind of voodoo hold over the Champions League, that no matter the level of the performance they put in, they'll still find a way. Here's Rudiger. Finds a way down the touchline for Alaba. It's over the head of Saka. It's bouncing in front of Alaba, and Timber was in close attendance, so it's a pass that's intercepted. Saka, the flag will go up for offside on Bukayo Saka, but it's Arsenal that are applying all the pressure so far. Alaba will have the throw-in. Never with a penalty spot inside the Real Madrid half of the pitch. Bellingham. Mikel Merino got there. Played alongside Martin Odegaard in that Real Sociedad team when Odegaard was on loan from Real Madrid. Both goal scorers, in fact, in the Copa del Rey. Saka. Now Alaba, slip forward. Mbappe finds Modric, who has Odegaard all over him, and he's got a toe to the ball. The Arsenal captain. But no complaints as the referee blows the whistle. He'll just have a little word, though, about a couple of other decisions the referee has made. Oh, shove in the back this time from Martin Odegaard, who's what's given Real Madrid the free kick. Here is Luka Modric. Rudiger. Right-footed ball whipped cross-field by Vinicius Jr. That won't reach Rodrigo. Instead, it's Miles Lewis-Skelly that shrugs him off and then bursts past Modric. Is a decent ball towards Martinelli. Across came Asensio, sliding in. And a play on the far side for a throw-in, but confident play from Miles Lewis-Skelly. First to shrug off Asensio, and then to stride into space past Luka Modric. Here he is again, though, the Real Madrid captain, as Real Madrid win it back. Strong challenge from Declan Rice. Real Madrid with the throw-in. Be 40 in a couple of months, Luka Modric. Birthday in September. Featured in a couple of Premier League games against Mikel Arteta in his time at Tottenham. Valverde will take the throw-in eventually. The referee's not happy with how long they're taking over this throw-in. It is finally into the penalty area. Courtois, Asensio, and now Valverde. Miles Lewis-Skelly, the second youngest English player to start a UEFA Champions League quarter-final. Jude Bellingham, the youngest for Dortmund, back against Manchester City in 2021. That's just 17 years old. It's pumped forward by Courtois. Kivior chests that down to Lewis-Skelly. It's Partey on the edge of the centre circle. Now Lewis-Skelly, a little bit of time in midfield. Picks a nice pass forward to Declan Rice, who was on the edge of the penalty area. Tries to cushion that back for Mikel Merino, who thought he was caught by Eduardo Camavinga. Referee says he got a little bit of the ball. Partey breaks it up, though, for Arsenal. Odegaard tries to burst past Camavinga, and yet again the referee waves away Arsenal appeals. Rudiger, that one certainly looked a bit of a stronger case for Arsenal, as Rodrigo, edge of the box, now Mbappe, edge of the D, Vinicius just inside, left of centre, tries to whip one towards the far corner. Raya went sprawling across, no need to guide it wide, as it just drifted away from the right-hand upright. The boos ring down from around the Emirates after a couple of questionable refereeing decisions from the official. Saliba. Now Lewis-Skelly. Arsenal seeing a lot of the ball early on in this Champions League quarter-final. Featured 8 times in quarter-finals, have won only twice. On occasion, of course, they went all the way to the final, that heartbreak in Barcelona. Arsenal's Jens Lehmann became the first player ever to be sent off in a European Cup final. Odegaard forward, Saka into the path of Merino, just a little bit too far in front of him. It's collected on the 6-yard line in front of Courtois by Asensio. And Arsenal will try and pen Real Madrid back in their defensive third here. And the out ball from Rudiger won't find Vinicius Jr. He'll bobble over the touchline into the hands of Mikel Arteta, who hands it to William Saliba, and they're back underway again. Quick start from Arsenal. Here's Partey. Wide on the right here, Timber. 10 yards inside their own half at the moment, Arsenal, with William Saliba. Now it's with Jakub Kivior. Declan Rice dropping back to pick it up off the defenders. Left-hand side of the centre circle. Now Saliba. To his left for Jakub Kivior. Saliba again. Forming a back three at the moment. Timber dropping in alongside Kivior and Saliba, with Lewis-Skelly essentially playing exclusively as a midfielder. Of course, not a quarter-final. In action this evening, Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. It's goalless over at the Allianz Arena. Vincent Kompany's team taking on Inter Milan, currently managed by Simone Inzaghi. They are widely regarded as the underdogs, the Italians. Largely thanks to the form in Europe of the likes of Michael Olise and Harry Kane, as Arsenal have just caused themselves a bit of a problem. Vinicius Junior fall for Mbappe, flag stays down, he flashes it over the bar. And now the flag is up. Got themselves into a real mess there, Arsenal. It was a poor pass inside by Jakub Kiwior. It was looking for William Saliba. It was between players, really, and Kylian Mbappe latched onto it. Vinicius picked the ball up and tried to slip it through to Mbappe, who was driving at Raya's goal. It's over the bar as it just bobbled up on the edge of the penalty area from Kylian Mbappe, and I think it's Yuri and Timber that's gone down. He caught him on the follow-through, Kylian Mbappe. It's not what Timber wants to see up on the big screen, as he's receiving treatment at the moment. The medical team trying to work their magic. The last thing Mikel Arteta wants is more injuries. His team decimated, especially in defensive areas. They do have Ben White on the bench, which would be a like-for-like replacement at right-back. Kieran Tierney, of course, there, as well as Alexander Zinchenko, but more left-sided, that pairing. Timber is back on his feet. He's hobbling towards the byline as he wander off for a little bit more treatment to that ankle. A bright start from Arsenal. Yeah. Beyond the halfway point of this first 45. Free kick taken short. Here's Miles Lewis Skelly to William Saliba. Across to Jakub Kiwior. Vinicius Junior darting between the defenders. David Raya on the edge of the box. Forward. Lewis Skelly turns away. Wanted to release a forward pass quicker. Has to go square to his right to Partey. Now Lewis Skelly has Jude Bellingham chasing him. Lewis Skelly drifting across the centre circle. Back to Thomas Partey. Fizzed out to the right-hand side. Here's Bukayo Saka. He's inside David Alaba. Chops to the edge of the box. Tries to whip one in low into the penalty area. That's off Camavinga. And Courtois will come sprawling out to collect that. They've had a bit of joy down both wings, Arsenal. Gabriel Martinelli's direct running almost unlocked it for Declan Rice at the near post for what's been the best chance of the game. And then Bukayo Saka again, you can see just a couple of glimpses. Mbappe on the edge of the box. Crowded out by Partey. Camavinga sliding in, wins it back for Real Madrid. Here's Luka Modric right of centre, 10 yards into Arsenal territory, forward to Kylian Mbappe. On the edge of the box, Rodrigo wide on the right will step in field. Back to Modric, now Camavinga. Bellingham. Back to Camavinga again, Rudiger. Alaba on the left. Down the life for Vinicius. Alaba back to Rudiger. Sprays a crossfield pass out to Valverde on the right-hand side. Infield to Rodrigo. It's neat from Real Madrid, but all being played in front of Arsenal at the moment. Modric. Rudiger. To his left for Alaba. Floats one towards the edge of the Arsenal box, where it's good first touch by Saliba, and he found Timber. Now Ødegaard on the right-hand side. Camavinga sweeps up for Real Madrid, just in front of his manager Carlo Ancelotti. Rudiger to Modric. Valverde down the touchline. Here's Rodrigo. It's back to Valverde. Floated over the top, and Mbappe made the run. Raya spotted it, quick off his line again. And quick into midfield for Declan Rice. Lewis Skelly. Party on halfway. Timber to his right now. Bellingham will accelerate towards it. It's gone inside to Saliba. Marino. The atmosphere and energy of the first 15 or 20 minutes has just ebbed away a little. Teams have settled into the game a bit more, but Arsenal carrying the greater threat as things stand. Saka, Odegaard look to turn away from Camavinga, who just about got there. It's prodded away from Real Madrid. It's Saliba that picks it up in the centre circle for Arsenal. Lewis Skelly to Rice, stepping in onto his right foot. Laid off to Saliba. Lewis Skelly to Kivior. Saliba in the centre circle, inside Madrid territory. All 11 of Real Madrid's 11 behind the ball as it's played across that Arsenal back four. Partey now strides forward. Timber has to turn back. Infield to Partey. Now Lewis Skelly. A little bit of space between the lines. And the pass was just behind Bukayo Saka, and it'll run out of play on the near side. It's a good run from Bukayo Saka. He wanted it on the inside rather than the outside. Then again, it was Lewis Skelly that found a route through the Real Madrid midfield. Nice. And the pressure on Luka Modric. That's how to play for a goal kick despite his best efforts. Real Madrid with a goal kick. Asensio's going to take it. He's going to give it to Courtois. And now it'll go long from the goalkeeper. Forward from Kivior. Alaba on the left-hand side. Vinicius Jr. Into midfield where it's intercepted by Saliba. And Kivior picks up the pieces for Arsenal on the right-hand side. Got away from Vinicius Jr. but straight to Bellingham, and Bellingham slips that in behind, and Kylian Mbappe from inside to out. Mbappe saved on his near post by Raya, and the follow-up smothered. That's Madrid's best chance so far. He's trying to open his body up and curl it towards the far post. But David Raya does ever so well against Kylian Mbappe with his first real sight of goal. Martinelli in the penalty area at the other end. Lifts it left-footed across the face of goal towards Marino. Up but not away by Rudiger. Marino's second time of asking. Denied by Courtois, who claims high above the Arsenal auxiliary centre forward. Valverde. Oh, that's a stumble at a wrong time from Saliba. Timber slides in, recovers once and then twice. But here's Mbappe 30 yards from goal. To his right for Rodrigo, just inside the penalty area now. Rodrigo towards the near post, off the thigh of Lewis Skelly, and that'll loop out of play for a corner kick. Tempo just kicked up a bit in the last few minutes. End-to-end's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. That's what we've had. Really clever from Kylian Mbappe and David Raya, who read it. He knew exactly what Mbappe was trying to do. It's a really good chance for Real Madrid. Alaba to take it from the far side. The left foot of the Austrian. First Champions League start of the season. Opportunity to try and break the deadlock here. Looped in towards the penalty spot. That's a poor delivery, and Saka will volley it clear for a throw-in down the Real Madrid right. Into Camavinga by Modric. Back with Courtois. He'll run away from Martin Odegaard. Up towards the halfway line where it's nodded down by Kiwior. And now Modric turns that down the touchline. Flicked in field by Rodrigo. Bellingham wins it and feeds Mbappe, driving at the heart of the Arsenal defence, edge of the box. Now Vinicius Junior, left-hand side of the penalty area, across the face of goal, away by William Saliba at the near post. Mbappe will get there before Odegaard, flicks it over the Arsenal captain's head, and now takes it down. A little collision as he released the ball, and it's been given Arsenal's way. Mbappe's not happy. A flash of brilliance though, first to take the ball down and then to flick it over Odegaard's head. Little body feints, he sent defenders one way. Merino just a little bit sharper. Clever as well from Mikel Merino. Saliba. Lewis Skelly. Odegaard. Saka on the right. Lays it off, here's Odegaard. Right hand inside channel, wanted to use that left foot. Didn't get the space. Now it's Saka, back to Odegaard. Slightly behind Saka, they've managed to improvise it. And they keep the ball here, Arsenal, with Partey. Saliba. Timber. Partey. Kiwior. Rice on the left. Measured from Arsenal. Martinelli sliding in comes Valverde. Throw in for the Gunners in front of the Real Madrid supporters on the far side. Approaching the last 10 minutes of the first half. First quarter of the tie, of course. They'll do it all again next week at the Bernabeu. In from Lewis Skelly. Rice, it turns towards the corner flag. Smothered by Modric, but Martinelli will collect. Very tight out there, and he had two to contend with. Rodrigo will win it back. Camavinga to Modric. Valverde, how about that for a long ball up to the halfway line, and how about that for a touch from Vinicius Junior, who will go down in stages, and the referee blows the whistle. Vinicius Junior just trying to shield the ball. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Rudiger. Off the forehead of Jurien Timber. It's picked up by Camavinga in the Real Madrid half of the pitch. Modric. Camavinga. Boos from the Arsenal crowd for former Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Luka Modric. Camavinga. Mbappe. Camavinga to his left. Alaba. Madrid inching their way further forward. Camavinga lays it off into midfield. There's Modric. Sprays one wide to Rodrigo. Bellingham. Back to Rodrigo. Now Valverde. Into the centre circle for Luka Modric. Rodrigo again. Modric. Here's Camavinga. Mikel Merino got a toe to it, but it's only as far as Rudiger. He tries the crossfield ball to Rodrigo. It's well watched by Miles Lewis Skelly. Now Martinelli. And Merino. Arsenal on the front foot again. Rice on the left-hand side. Along the length of the halfway line. Chips one to Odegaard, who's in a little pocket of space right of centre, driving at the corner of the penalty area, wide to Bukayo Saka here. Saka goes round the outside of Bellingham, right footed ball across the face of goal, no one there to finish it off for Arsenal. It's a sensational ball from Bukayo Saka, but nobody's gambling in red. Dropped the shoulder on his England international colleague Jude Bellingham. It's a dream pass from Bukayo Saka. Timber. Saliba. Luis Skelly to the left. Now Martinelli. Valverde. Seen a gap in the armour here, Arsenal. But Valverde's not one of them. Wins it back off Martinelli. And here are Real Madrid back in their own penalty area with Rudiger. They've lost more than they've won away from home at English clubs, Real Madrid. 10 wins, 6 draws and 11 losses on their travels. Mbappe for Modric on the halfway line, back inside to Kylian Mbappe. And now Eduardo Camavinga. Jude Bellingham. Alaba to Bellingham. Modric. Now Rodrigo. Last meeting between these two sides 19 years ago. Fine solo finish from Thierry Henry. Gave Arsenal the win. 47 minutes into the first leg. A 0-0 draw back at Highbury. So Arsenal through to the quarter-finals. Team that day, Real Madrid team that day featuring Zidane, Ronaldo, David Beckham and Robinho. Emmanuel Oboe started for Arsenal that evening. It's back from Asensio to Courtois. Wrong clearance, hoisted downfield towards Jude Bellingham. Strong header from Timber, picked up in the centre circle by Declan Rice. Cushions that down to Thomas Partey. And now here's Bukayo Saka driving at David Alaba. Who this time will not retreat. It's inside to Ødegaard. Saka, return ball across the face of goal, deflection off Rudiger. Just took that away from Martinelli and Marino and had a play for a throw-in on the far side. In from Rice to Luis Skelly. Saliba. Out to Saka. Timber. Ødegaard. Infield. Partey. Timber. Show too much of it to Alaba. That's a foul on Kylian Mbappe, says the referee. But Jakub Kiwior looks on bemused, and Thomas Partey will walk away with no complaints. There's nothing in that at all. You can understand some Arsenal fans' frustration here, as there's been a couple of suspect decisions that have gone against them and in favour of Real Madrid. Asensio driving forward, joining the midfield. Now Rodrigo. It's an easy pass for Raya to come and collect. No goals at the Emirates, but there are in Munich, and it's gone Inter's way. Lautaro Martinez has given them a lead after 38 minutes. Big night of Champions League football. He's the first Inter player with 7 Champions League goals in a season since Samuel Eto'o in 2010-2011. Here at the Emirates, Bukayo Saka is causing all sorts of problems for David Alaba down the Arsenal right. But still, neither team able to break the deadlock. Timber. Saka. Inside, taking Alaba with him. A little bit sloppy from Bukayo Saka. Alaba's clearance down the left-hand side, picked up by Vinicius Junior. Off Partey and out of play for a throw-in. A little flick off Vinicius Junior as well. It's an Arsenal throw. Really good work from Thomas Partey. Saka will catch the eye. Thomas Partey keeps Arsenal ticking in midfield. Kiwior. Now Saliba. Timber to Saka. Saka to Timber. Timber to Partey. Saliba. And now Kiwior. Out to Declan Rice on the left-hand side. Infield to Miles Lewis-Skelly. Rice. Back to Kiwior. Saliba. Tries to step forward. So congested in the Madrid half of the minute. They're keeping it very tight in a central position. Partey to Saka wide on the right. Saka inside to Partey. Good first touch from Lewis-Skelly. Cushion back to him by Marino. Decent footwork on the edge of the box by Marino. Timber. Rice! Good save from Courtois! Not once but twice as Martinelli pummels it towards the near post. And it's away by Real Madrid as we enter the 45th minute of the first half. Raya for Kiwior. What a chance that is for Arsenal. Partey. Timber. Ødegaard. Partey. The middle of the Real Madrid half of the pitch. Lewis-Skelly. Partey. Ødegaard. Right of centre, wide for Saka. Inside or out, Alaba doesn't know. Saka deep towards the back post. Martinelli was there. A little heavy from Bukayo Saka. And that's a goal kick. Really encouraging end to this first half. Declan Rice drawing the save from Thibaut Courtois, who got down low to his right and pushes it into the path of Gabriel Martinelli. The ball bouncing towards the Brazilian. Tries to place it. Courtois' powers of recovery on show there as he springs back to his feet and gets two hands to the ball. Really good opportunity for Arsenal. They've started to create some great opportunities as we move into 2 minutes of time added on. Really even first half. Chances at both ends. Ødegaard. Try and flick that forward for Martinelli. It's Courtois who's favourite. Courtois takes his time in possession here. Half-time beckoning. You'd argue on the balance of play that Real Madrid's have had the better chances, but Arsenal have been the more persistent threat. Maybe there's time for one more opportunity as Camavinga wins it off Marino. A robust tackle from Eduardo Camavinga. Another one that drew the ire of the Arsenal fans. The Real Madrid play on here with Rudiger and Modric. Bellingham for Camavinga right of centre. That's in behind Martinelli for Valverde. Shots back onto his left towards the edge of the box, pulls it back for Camavinga. Left-footed effort from quite some way out. And that's high and wide. And surely the last we'll see of this first half. David Raya will spot it up, they'll take it. I'm not sure the referee will give us much more time, and there is the half-time whistle. A really good half of Champions League quarter-final action, gripping from start to finish. Bukayo Saka has been the star for Arsenal. Declan Rice with their best chance. Kylian Mbappe has seen the whites of David Raya's eyes. But nothing to separate the two sides. Both have an argument that they've done enough to be in front, but we're all square at the break as they walk in at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 0, Real Madrid 0.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok.
Just flicked around the outside for Declan Rice, who's driving towards the edge of the penalty area, across the face of goal towards Mikel Merino. A little nod back, won't reach Odegaard. Camavinga with a toe to it. Saka. Deflection off Bellingham. Carries it to Partey, rattles that towards Martin Odegaard. And Courtois stops that from going out of play. No changes at the break, which means it's still Thibaut Courtois in goal, Fede Valverde at right back, Alaba at left back, Asensio joining Tony Rudiger in the centre of defence, with Modric, Camavinga and Jude Bellingham, the midfield trio, Mbappe, Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. That's fear-inducing front three for Arsenal. It's Raya in goal, Lewis Skelly at left back, William Saliba and Jakub Kiwior, the two centre-halves, with Timber on the right-hand side, Rice, Partey and Odegaard in the midfield trio, with Martinelli on the left, Bukayo Saka making his first start in a little less than 4 months, with Mikel Merino playing that false nine position. Throw in on the near side. Tossed in by Valverde. Asensio across to Rudiger. Forward from the left back, Alaba. And it's turned all the way back to David Raya. Here is Raya. The feet of Kiwior. And now across to William Saliba. Slightly more sedate start to this second period than we had in the first. Kiwior to Saliba. And now Timber. And again, it's Lewis Skelly who is stepping up alongside Thomas Partey at the base of the Arsenal midfield, which means in possession here as Arsenal are now. He slotted into a back three with Kiwior, Saliba and Timber. He's in possession now for Arsenal. And it's a square pass to his left to return that to William Saliba. Now Partey to Timber, tiptoeing his way into Madrid territory and then back again into Saliba. Saliba to Jakub Kiwior. And now Declan Rice looks infield. He'll find Miles Lewis Skelly. And now Thomas Partey. Merino coming short and spinning one to Martinelli on the left-hand side, running now at Fede Valverde. He's had joy already this evening, looks to go around the outside. The left-footed cross will loop out of play for a goal kick. Madrid content just sitting off Arsenal when they've got it at the back. Just closing the gap between Courtois and their back line, which means it's difficult for Arsenal to play into the space behind them. On from Courtois. Underneath it, Valverde. Lewis Skelly will take that down and then slide it forward to Merino. Modric responds and wins it back for Real Madrid. Rodrigo to Valverde. Getting forward down the right-hand side. Midfield to Rodrigo. And now Luka Modric. Shifted out to Alaba on the left. Flicked infield to Rudiger, and now Modric to Mbappe, who's just popped up in the centre circle. Fancy little flick to give that to Camavinga, who darted forward and then turns back for home as he approached Bukayo Saka. Back to the edge of the centre circle for Modric. Bellingham. Modric again. Mbappe. Camavinga. Back to Modric. Rudiger left of centre. Wanders 10 yards forward, up to the edge of the penalty area. Bellingham into the path of Mbappe. Tight angle into the side netting. Clever from Jude Bellingham, who just lets the ball run across him from Tony Rudiger. Just takes the pace off the ball and rolls it into the path of Kylian Mbappe. It was a tight chance. He had Saliba with him. And he can't squeeze at the right side of the post. Saliba under pressure from Kylian Mbappe here. Arsenal playing along the edge of their penalty area. Partey. And Saliba will emerge into a pocket of space in the midfield. Lewis Skelly down the line. Martinelli in front of Valverde. Now inside to Lewis Skelly. Partey whips one out to the right flank where Saka will pick it up on the touchline. Timber to Saliba. Saka in the final third. Right hand side finds Ødegaard. Wonderful first touch to juggle that into the penalty area. Camavinga though too strong. It just spits out to Bellingham on the left hand side. Sprinting forward here is Vinicius. Up to the corner of the box. Now Mbappe. Arsenal have bodies flooding back. Rodrigo. Modric. Alaba inside to Bellingham. And Arsenal have recovered their shape. And Real Madrid being held at bay. Modric to Camavinga. Back to Luka Modric. Floated out to the right-hand side. Rodrigo. Stops that dead on under his right boot and then turns it back inside to Luka Modric as Real Madrid inch a little bit further forward with every pass. Here's Mbappe. A blur of legs in front of Saka, but the end result was the pass out to Alaba, who's returned that towards the halfway line for Tony Rudiger. Here's Luka Modric. Rudiger for Alaba. Now Camavinga. Timber got there, but he couldn't maintain possession for Arsenal. Here's Vinicius Jr. Alaba floats one into the 6-yard box as Ryan will come to collect it. The referee's going to just stop play here to check on Eduardo Camavinga. He's going to show a yellow card as well to Thomas Partey. There was a collision between the two off the ball. He looks to just be standing his ground. He maybe has just lent in with the shoulder as Camavinga turns into him. But he has been shown the yellow card. There are a few at risk of suspension for the second leg. 6 in the Real Madrid team. Raheem Sterling not involved after an accumulation of yellow cards against PSV in the last round. Here's David Raya to Kivior. Saliba for Timber. We may be goalless at the Emirates, but Inter Milan have the lead at the Allianz against Bayern Munich in the other quarter-final. Next week, of course, there will be more Champions League action. And a couple of games as well tomorrow, as Aston Villa travel to Paris and Dortmund face Barcelona. Arsenal down the left-hand side with Rice. Now Martinelli. It's infield to Lewis Skelly. Declan Rice got a toe to it. It cannoned off of Asensio, who came charging off the 6-yard line. It's clever from Declan Rice again, just drifts inside the fullback. He won the ball. A committed challenge from Declan Rice. Did cannon up off of him into the face of Asensio. Lewis Skelly. Throw in here for Arsenal. Deep inside Real Madrid territory. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Tossed into Martinelli. Squeezed back to Lewis Skelly. Looks infield. Laid off to Kivior. Now back to the halfway line for Saliba. Cross to Timber. Right hand side on the touchline is Saka. Alaba quick to meet him. Now Saka steps in field. Still going Saka. A little clip of the heels from David Alaba, and it's pulled back by the referee for a free kick to Arsenal. He's having a really tough night, David Alaba. Tried to be careful. Just a little flick of the boot was enough to take Saka to the ground, and now Arsenal have a set piece in a threatening area. The only question about Bukayo Saka this evening is how long can he keep this up. He's been Arsenal's best player this evening, without question. Thibaut Courtois erecting his wall. Nicolas Chauvet, the set-piece coach, on the edge of his technical area. There'll be 3 in the wall. It's just about in a shooting range. Declan Rice is standing over it. Could be the right of Rice or the left of Saka. It is Rice. He's sensational from Declan Rice! A wonderful free kick from Declan Rice. A cannonball fires the Gunners into the lead. On one of the biggest nights this stadium has seen. Four in the wall to beat, and Declan Rice wraps his foot around it. It starts outside the post. Thibaut Courtois gets across really, really well, but there's no saving that. It's wonderful from Rice. Scrapes inside the upright. A piece of pure brilliance from Declan Rice. A goal befitting of the occasion. And a huge moment in a season that has been so frustrating for Arsenal. Almost a feeling of relief. I've been through the ringer this season, these Arsenal supporters. Another tease of a title chase. But right now they lead the Champions League holders, courtesy of a pile driver from one of their new favourite sons. Beware the Real Madrid response though. Here's Camavinga on the edge of the centre circle. Left hand side now Vinicius. Sprinting at Timber, gets in the way of the cross. Corner kick for Real Madrid. Have to keep their heads. So we hit the 60-minute mark. It's honestly, I keep seeing the replay of this Rice free kick, and it's one of those moments you just cannot explain. There's Bellingham with a attempt of a flash of brilliance of himself. Flicked a heel as it went past him. But Raya claims, and that's steered down the left-hand side towards Gabriel Martinelli. Now Courtois under pressure Floated downfield, left-footed. The way Declan Rice wraps his instep round this free kick, and the amount of curl it gets, I don't think I've ever seen a football do it. There's one man that's come very close, that's Roberto Carlos. A man who's here tonight to witness that piece of brilliance from Declan Rice. Here's Martin Odegaard. Can Arsenal double their lead here with Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side? Bellingham in his way. Bellingham wins it, and Alaba strides forward with it. And now it's Camavinga alongside him. Arsenal starting to retreat as Vinicius Junior accelerating down the left-hand side. Tried the low pass towards Kylian Mbappe. Didn't get that quite right. Picked off by Saliba, and now it's with Mikel Merino on the halfway line for Arsenal. It's pulled back by Odegaard to Partey. Now the goal scorer Declan Rice. His heart must be absolutely pounding in his chest. Rice forward to Odegaard. Now right-hand side for Saka. Level with the edge of the box. Alaba comes to close him down. Now Bellingham helping out as well. Saka tries to go around the outside. Little touch on the ball off David Alaba. Gets in the way of the cross. It will be a corner kick for Arsenal. Winner of this will play either PSG or Aston Villa in the semi-finals of the Champions League. We could have an all-English affair, or a meeting of this competition's greatest champions against their latest pretenders. A tantalising prospect either way. Arsenal could be up against PSG as well, of course. And what an opportunity that could be. Into the 6-yard box by Saka. Through a crowd of bodies emerged Thibaut Courtois. Charging to the edge of his penalty area, wanting the early release. Rudiger under pressure immediately. Odegaard went tearing towards him. It's now with Camavinga on the right-hand side, who's made decent ground up to the halfway line. Bellingham in the centre circle, ushers this back to Luka Modric. And now at the right flank here is Rodrigo. Back inside to Luka Modric, right of centre. Camavinga just forward from the halfway line. Left-footed ball floated out to the left flank, onto the chest of Vinicius Junior. Touch takes him backwards, but the ball goes to David Alaba. Back down the line for Vinicius Junior. Real Madrid start to slow down, because Arsenal have a sea of red camped out in front of them, and something to protect as well. It was Real Madrid in the first half that looked the real threat on the break. It was in these moments when Arsenal got organised and tightly compacted together that Real Madrid struggled to break them down. The pace of Vinicius Junior and Kylian Mbappe, such an important facet of their build-up. And they maybe have an opportunity here with Alaba and a bit of space for Vinicius on the left-hand side. Arsenal's back line currently 5 or 6 yards outside their penalty area. Vinicius Junior now running at Yuri and Timber into the penalty area. Very direct from Vinicius. And the pass was straight to Declan Rice, who goes old school and slams it out of play for a throw into Real Madrid on the far side. Plenty of Real Madrid reinforcements as well to choose from. They do have the talents of Brahim Diaz amongst the substitutes. Arda Güler to Endrick could be called upon. Relatively young faces amongst the Real Madrid substitutes, as there are on the Arsenal bench. Jimmy Glover, Ethan Nwaneri's the latest star off the Arsenal academy conveyor belt. Nathan Butler, Oyedeji, excuse me, also included amongst the substitutes this evening. It's Arsenal in possession near the halfway line with their goal scorer Declan Rice. Merino. Miles Lewis-Skelly. Partey in the centre circle. To Lewis-Skelly to his left. Gabriel Martinelli inside. Here's Miles Lewis-Skelly. Now Partey can run onto that. Partey looks for Rice. Good first touch. Won't settle for him. Off Camavinga. Valverde on the byline. Stabs it away. Lewis-Skelly wrestling with Rodrigo. And it's Rodrigo that gets the decision of the referee, and Mbappe ran straight into Kivior. Given away by Real Madrid. Partey, Timber, now Saka. Laid off to Partey. Now back to Bukayo Saka. Bellingham this time has come to meet him. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Bellingham showing him down the line. Saka laying it off to Timber. Now with Saliba. Kivior. Furthest outfield player back is Saliba, and he's midway through Real Madrid's half of the pitch. Arsenal aren't settling for the one-goal lead here. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Lewis Skelly to Kivior. Now Rice. Lewis Skelly. Vinicius Jr. with a challenge. Lewis Skelly prods it through the legs. Martinelli saved, and then the volley by Marino saved again, and then another from Courtois. David Alaba got his body in there somewhere as well, but it's Miles Lewis Skelly. He's mobbed by grey shirts, prods it through the legs of Valverde into the path of Martinelli, who whips that towards goal. Courtois pushes it away. It drops so invitingly to Marino, who lashes it on the volley. David Alaba dropping on the line, blocks it then. And a second attempt from Marino in quick succession is pushed away by Thibaut Courtois. With a big strong right hand over the crossbar, Arsenal with the corner kick. Up to their usual tricks in the corner. Saka in towards the 6-yard box where it's punched away by Courtois. Rice! And that's another one off the line from Bellingham. Ødegaard, Saka. Now Timber, back to Ødegaard. A real fizz in their play here, Arsenal. Saka being held up by Jude Bellingham and forced backwards, but Saka will turn past him and then drift past Rodrigo and go down under a late challenge from Camavinga. Partey's effort, but it's going to be pulled back for the free kick. And Arsenal all over Real Madrid here. Wonderful from Bukayo Saka. Certainly not from Eduardo Camavinga. But Declan Rice almost had a second. There's a combination of Thibaut Courtois and Jude Bellingham just a moment ago. A superb performance here from Arsenal. They've improved in this second half, but they weren't half bad in the first either. Problem here. Saka's taken a bit of a moment. He's on his haunches at the moment, as Mikel Merino's going to have to be pulled back to his feet. At the end of all of this, we will have a free kick. I think there was a yellow card shown to Eduardo Camavinga. And if it was Eduardo Camavinga that was booked, he will be ruled out of the second leg next week at the Bernabeu. Still yet to receive official confirmation. No changes yet as we approach the 70-minute mark. It's a not too dissimilar position. This time on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Very, very similar distance, though, for Declan Rice and Martin Ødegaard, both standing over it. Arsenal have erected a three-man wall of their own. 5 in the Real Madrid construction. It's Rice. It's even better! Oh, my word! Declan Rice! Whips one into the top corner. Unbelievable! Arsenal lead by 2-0. And what a 2 goals they are! Simply stunning from Declan Rice. It travels like a rocket. He's put it to Courtois' side. And Thibaut Courtois could be stood anywhere in this goal. He could be stood directly under the flight path of this ball. And he's never saving that. Not in a million years. An exceptional night for Arsenal. They've been wonderful from back to front, numbers 1 to 11. And having said that, Declan Rice, a smile plastered across his face. You can't blame him. Almost stunned into silence, the Madridistas in the corner. Two finishes befitting a quarter-final of this magnitude. And Arsenal sit in pole position with a 2-goal lead against the Champions League holders, who made a change in that chaos that ensued. After what you can only describe as an unbelievable goal from Declan Rice. Luka Modric has been replaced by Lucas Vazquez, which will give Fede Valverde his preferred position in midfield back. But Real Madrid have some work to do now. Bukayo Saka is also going to head for the sidelines. His first start for 3.5 months. He's been wonderful this evening. His contribution. David Alaba will have nightmares, as will Jude Bellingham. He won the free kick, from which Declan Rice scored the second. He's going to be replaced by Leandro Trossard. But even a effervescent Bukayo Saka has been upstaged. From two moments of magnificence from deadly Declan Rice. Timber. Martinelli now out on that right-hand side. Trossard's come across to this left. Thomas Partey on the halfway line. Here's Saliba. Centre circle with Marino. Out to Rice again. Will drive them forward. Laid off to Leandro Trossard. First involvement. It's a pull back to the edge of the box. Miles Lewis, Skelly. Marino! Oh my word! Arsenal make it 3! The first time finish flashed into the bottom corner by Mikel Merino. He's now scored more goals against Real Madrid than anyone else is in his entire career. Arsenal's top scorer in 2025. With injuries decimating them. Oh, it's going to be pulled back. It looks like Leandro Trossard is in an offside position. He just pulls back to the edge of the box. It's a lovely pass from, weighted pass from Miles Lewis Skelly, and he just curls it into the bottom corner past Thibaut Courtois. 3 goals of exacting precision from the Gunners this evening. And it will stand. Leandro Trossard onside. Arsenal in dreamland against Real Madrid. Kiwior gets it away. Partey, and now Martinelli will sprint after this. Rudiger has to come across to meet him on the far side. An incredible night at the Emirates. Carlo Ancelotti. The eyebrow is raised. It's not often that Real Madrid on the receiving end in Europe. They are tonight. A chastening defeat looks inbound for Real Madrid unless they can salvage something in the last 15 minutes. Leandro Trossard with a tug on Lucas Vazquez. They'll have a free kick. They can just lick their wounds at the moment, Real Madrid. Courtois. Forward from Rudiger, laid off by Bellingham. Alaba down the outside, Vinicius Junior sprinting after this, Saliba retreating. Arsenal have got bodies back. Vinicius involved in this, as is Mbappe. Mbappe, sharp pass into him, tried to flick that round the corner for Bellingham. It's Ødegaard that comes away with it, and Jude Bellingham with a couple of frustrated tugs at the Arsenal captain. That should be a yellow card. It won't be. Mixed bag of a refereeing performance this evening. Elected not to penalise the tug. Declan Rice is currently down for Arsenal. Catch your breath. A game that was goalless at half-time. And we said at the time that was the only question mark over this match, which had been gripping from the word go. Well, my, how that's changed. And it was Declan Rice with 2 efforts of quality that Arsenal could only have dreamt of coming into the game this evening. He's suffering a little for his efforts here, Declan Rice. He's just been caught. There's a little bit of blood on his sock. They go hobbling away towards the touchline. And Kieran Tierney is ready to come on, and it's quite the ovation for Declan Rice. This has been his match. 2 moments of genius from the England international, who'll be replaced by Kieran Tierney for the last 11 minutes or so. Two of the greatest goals in Arsenal Champions League history. Another change for Real Madrid as well. Fran Garcia has come on for David Alaba. It's Kieran Tierney getting forward down the left-hand side, challenging with Lucas Vazquez. Lewis Skelly. Looking for Tierney. Rodrigo. Kieran Tierney holding up near the corner flag. Tries to steer that back for Miles Lewis. Skelly will run out of play. Real Madrid with a throw-in. Lucas Vazquez will take the throw-in for Real Madrid. If they can peg one back, nothing is impossible at the Bernabeu. Especially when it comes to Real Madrid in the Champions League. Here's Timber. Clearance down the touchline. Martinelli, little shove from Fran Garcia. Well, I've just seen a remarkable stat. Declan Rice's first this evening is the first time he's ever scored direct from a free kick in his professional career. How's he been keeping that? Valverde. Camavinga. Vinicius Jr. ran into traffic. Partey. Garcia. Right hand side via Lucas Rodrigo. Puts it through the legs of Miles Lewis. Then a little tug on Kieran Tierney, who was pulled back, and the free kick goes Arsenal's way. Been that kind of night for Real Madrid. Posed a real threat in the first half. Kylian Mbappe with a couple of really good sights of goal, but they didn't take their chances. A night that's going to live long in the memory of Arsenal supporters. A party in N5 this evening. I don't think the Emirates has ever heard an atmosphere quite like this. Jude Bellingham has been left on the ground. Lewis Skelly in a tangle with him, but it's on the right hand side with Martinelli. That's off Fran Garcia for a corner kick to Arsenal. Bellingham back to his feet. Jude Bellingham is just saying to the referee, have a look, watch it. Now, I did spot a little kick out from Miles Lewis Skelly. It may be somewhat of an exaggeration. Jude Bellingham is trying to make that case to the referee. For my money, Miles Lewis Skelly is just trying to get back to his feet. They really are in a tangle on the deck. Bayern have found an equaliser. This really would rub salt into the wounds. Martin Odegaard lining up a free kick from the far side. Thomas Müller with the equaliser for Bayern Munich in Germany. Here is Odegaard's ball at the Emirates, though, whipped deep in towards the near post where Courtois will punch away from William Saliba. Drops on the edge of the penalty area. There's Tierney flying in. Another agricultural challenge with Rodrigo. Madrid with the free kick on the edge of their penalty area. Brahim Diaz is coming on for Real Madrid, and that is Rodrigo's last involvement. So on comes the former Manchester City man. This has to rank amongst some of the greatest, one of the greatest games the Emirates has borne witness to. Real Madrid looking for something to cling on to as they head to the return fixture next week. And that's straight to Kivior. And now Marino for Kieran Tierney. Pull back to Miles Lewis Skelly. Now in the centre circle with Saliba. Timber. Martin Odegaard. Timber down the right-hand side. Martinelli towards the near post. That's away by Rudiger. Partey. Martinelli on the right-hand side. Throw into Real Madrid. Garcia will take the throw in for Real Madrid. They look a spent force. And they've given that to Thomas Partey. And here's Marino. The 3-goal margin is tough enough, but this could really get away from them now tonight, Real Madrid. they aren't careful. Arsenal in the mood for it. Kirill. William Saliba just outside the centre circle. Arsenal in absolutely no hurry at all. Vinicius Junior tries to force the issue. They'll play around him. Timber, Ødegaard, now Partey on the halfway line. Back to Timber on the right-hand side. Thomas Partey will turn away from Fede Valverde. It's given away by Thomas Partey. Tried to prod it to Miles Lewis-Skelly. But Partey will mop up his mistake. Kirill to Raya. Wonderful pass for Leandro Trossard. Steered down the touchline. Looks infield, finds Marino. Lewis-Skelly. Tierney. Back to the halfway line, and now Trossard. Forward, Ødegaard, little back heel for Mikel Merino. Clearance from Asensio. A very tired clearance from the Real Madrid centre-back. Marino. It's fascinating. There seems to be no urgency whatsoever in Madrid's play. Even here, as Miles Lewis-Skelly ekes out a little bit more time, collecting the ball for the throw-in. There's no complaints at all from Real Madrid as that's tossed in towards the corner of the box. Asensio with the header, and a bit further forward, Lewis-Skelly will repeat his act, and this time Brahim Diaz will go and collect the ball. He doesn't want that one, Lewis-Skelly, he wants another one. Towards the 18-yard box. Trossard was the target. That's out of play off of Trossard. A goal kick for Real Madrid. Davide Flatesi is restored into Milan's lead in Munich. Rudiger. Fran Garcia with the throw-in on the left-hand side for Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior volleys that. More out of frustration than anything. Partey. Now Garcia with the up and under, up towards the halfway line. Tierney with the header. Timber wrestling with Vinicius Junior. And again, Real Madrid concede possession in the centre circle. Partey. Trossard. Tierney. Trossard steps past Brahim Diaz, still going. Trossard all the way back towards his own penalty area. And now it's with Kirill. Forward. It's bouncing over Asensio. Tierney giving chase. Out to this near side to Vasquez. The back heel inside will find Asensio as we're into the 90th minute at the Emirates. Trossard closing. Lewis-Skelly with the header. Flicked infield by Tierney, looped up towards Ødegaard. Was there a tug back? Ødegaard thought so. Referee didn't agree, and Real Madrid can try and counter-attack here with Fran Garcia. Forward to Vinicius Junior. Inside. The strike is charged down by Timber. And then cradled by Raya on the byline. As the clock ticks towards the 90 minutes. Arsenal won't want this to end. Real Madrid do. They've got 4 minutes left to suffer. And Jurriën Timber is the latest. So just take a little bit of a rest. He hurt himself in the first half in a little coming together. They're two of the greatest free kick goals I've ever seen from Declan Rice, who's set Arsenal on their way to the semi-finals. And Mikel Merino added the cherry on top with the third. Change for Arsenal. Jurrien Timber off. Ben White will come on. The 15-time champions of Europe. Now favourites for a quarter-final exit. Long from Raya. Picked up by Asensio. Arsenal shirt swarming around him though. And Asensio's clearance is rattled off Lucas Vazquez. Ødegaard just leaning into him. And Arsenal will have to throw in deep inside Madrid territory. Miles Lewis Skelly into Trossard. Wasn't kept in play by Lewis Skelly, says the referee. Second leg a week tomorrow. A date with destiny in the Bernabeu. And they've done their best at writing their own fate tonight, Arsenal. Certainly haven't left it to chance. On a huge night in the Champions League. Trossard. Dancing away from Valverde. Intricate with Partey. Now Trossard tries to slip that forward for Martinelli. Garcia hammers it into the Arsenal half of the pitch. Mbappe backing into Saliba, who wins that little tussle. Garcia to Rudiger. Ødegaard chasing him down. Lucas Vazquez back to the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area. And it's Rudiger over the top, looking for Kylian Mbappe. Peels out to the left-hand side, Saliba. Mbappe back to the edge of the box, looking for an angle. Pulls it back to Valverde. He can hit them, but he hasn't yet. Now it's Lucas Vazquez. Away by Miles Lewis Skelly at the near post. Martinelli with the header. Garcia picks it up. Back to Vinicius Junior on the left-hand side. Now Mbappe stepping in field. Past Ødegaard. Chops past Ben White. Into the penalty area. Ran into Partey. Goes to ground. No penalty. Arsenal in possession with Leandro Trossard. Bouncing off Lucas Vazquez. That's a free kick and a yellow card. Camavinga's just kicked the ball away. He's already been booked. And now Real Madrid will finish with 10. It's a head loss from Eduardo Camavinga. A steely gaze from Carlo Ancelotti. As Eduardo Camavinga storms down the tunnel. And the Champions League machine has come to a juddering halt. Caught in the one-way traffic of North London, which any second now is about to erupt. Raya long. Beyond Asensio and Merino, here's Lucas Vazquez. Turns it inside to Courtois. The referee checks his watch. Courtois long. Saliba with the header, nods it down to Partey, and there's the final whistle. A famous night at the Emirates. Mikel Arteta's greatest win as Arsenal manager. With Declan Rice performing miracles.